don't
rare
care
Matt
either.
Walsh W.
Yeah, for the most part. Then there was that weird stuff about the Democrats halfway through, but you know, you can't have it all when it comes to Walsh.
Yeah, I mean, this is the closest to a W he's ever been.
You know, it's either we talk about Matt Walsh or we talk about the article that you sent me about the Joe Rogan on the left stuff. It's one of the two, because they're both very pertinent conversations.
I think we're not doing the entire like Matt Walsh video.
Absolutely,
we're just doing like the Epstein
not.
part.
Just the Epstein part.
I am absolutely down for that.
I could not convince myself to do more than just this.
Because I have to say, literally the funniest shit that is happening right now is this implosion over Jeffrey Epstein. It's like I can't believe it, and honestly, I don't think Donald Trump can believe it either. It's like he pissed off a witch or something, and it like the didn't give up like the first child he had out of wedlock during this presidency. Like I don't know what happened, but like suddenly this is a big story now.
Look, I don't think he understood the lesson that we all learned years ago. When it comes to the Epstein files, they're never going to give you up. They're never going to let you down. They're never going to run around or desert Trump.
True.
See, we learned those because we were all forged in the fires of Rick Astley's dungeons. But, and now most of my audience is going to be pissed that I rickrolled them. Just for Terran Ambassador. God damn it. Fuck you, Terran Ambassador. Dropping a fucking whoa. I deserve it. I can't even... I can be angry, but I can't be that angry because of that. Let me resize the Final Fantasy window so I can make a Matt Walsh video, or Matt Walsh window. I don't like that I'm making a Matt Walsh window, but we'll make it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll get through this together.
Yeah, you know what? Look, we handled the New York heat together during the Bowman campaign. I'm sure we can handle this.
True.
Hey, but at least during that, you found out that I can roll downhill like Sonic the Hedgehog without too much issue.
It's genuinely incredibly impressive. Like you got skills.
Look, it's what happens when, despite my size and weight and like uncomfortability in my skin in general, I also go to the gym and like I spent all of today swimming before
hell yeah.
before this. Saki and I got Six Flags Whitewater seasonal passes because
that's so fun.
Because it turns out swimming in the lazy river in the wave pool is damn good exercise.
The lazy rivers in this heat are just the best. The best.
They are fantastic. They are fantastic. All right, Matt Walsh. Let's hear this. I am excited to finally have a moment where I get to agree with Matt Walsh on something. It's a rare thing.
From the store, then they need to turn those tapes over to the defense. The prosecution cannot modify the tape.
Nope, go back to the beginning.
In every single criminal trial in this country, whether the crime is petty theft or murder or anything in between, there are very clear standards that deal with video evidence. And in particular, if the government wants to introduce video evidence, they have to provide all of the available footage that they have. That's a pretty intuitive concept. So if somebody robs a convenience store and police recover surveillance tapes from the store, then they need to turn those tapes over to the defense. The prosecution cannot modify the tapes in any way. They can't splice together different tapes. They certainly can't delete anything. They have to provide the raw, unedited footage to the defense team. And on top of that, they have to verify that the tapes are authentic and they haven't been tampered with by establishing a sworn chain of custody. This is
okay. So he's just describing Discovery right now.
Yep.
Like that's just describing how Discovery works. So I did want to pause here though, because one of the defenses that was given by Caroline Leavitt about the Epstein files was, we can't release them because that would be distributing child pornography if you watched that moment. She's like, we don't want to distribute child pornography. And just like, I understand that, but this is a legal case, and this is how discovery works.
But also, you can censor that. We're not asking for the release of, like...
Please don't say release in relation to this. That sounds gross.
Oh, God. We're not asking for this material to be put out there, like...
censor the victims. Censor the victims' faces. And everything else. Everything else, like, too, please.
Genuinely, all we're asking... We want the client list. It's not like we want every bit of information public about this. We just want the client list. We want, and I understand there are people out there who get really nitpicky about, like, oh, but there isn't a client list. There isn't one list anywhere. But, like, okay, but you can, like, compile one from the amount of evidence you have. They're saying you have tens of thousands of videos.
And the thing is, those were not the words of the left. Those were not the words of random influencers online. Those are the words of the Attorney General.
Yeah,
that's the shit that we were told.
The Attorney General of the United States, like, Dan Bongino's, like, whole thing prior to becoming Deputy Director of the FBI was that, like, yeah, we're gonna release the Epstein stuff. We've got a bunch of evidence. We're gonna do that, and, like, it just kind of, and, like, even today, Donald Trump has been talking about, like, I got briefed on the Epstein list, and it's just not very interesting. It's like that's what you're just saying it's not interesting.
That's because, okay, so I hate saying it this way. I really do. I understand it from the perspective of somebody like Trump. So the way that Trump's going to describe anything is in the language of television. He understands things by how popular they are, what television ratings they will get. That's the language he understands. So when he says they're just not very interesting, he's literally just saying, I don't think it would make good television. Because that's what he said about fucking political campaigns before, is just going like, it's going to make great television. This is the language he understands.
I think there's a little bit of truth to that, but I think there's a bigger factor here, and I think he's genuinely worried. And I don't know if he's worried, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday on my stream, but I don't know if he's worried because he is implicated in the abuse of children, or if he's worried because he's implicated in the financial ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Because people to this day still don't have a solid understanding of where Jeffrey Epstein got all of his wealth. We don't know where he got his money. We don't know. And so it's speculated that it's blackmail and, like, a result of just blackmailing people up food chains. But, like, it's a non-zero possibility that, like, either he is one of those clients. I mean, you're the best friend of this guy for 15 years. And the only reason any of this.
And the only reason that you publicly stopped being his friend is he just happened to flirt with one of your other friend's daughter at a public event, and that was your red flag. Like, that was your line in all of this was, oh, you fucked up publicly.
and then he wishes the person who has 20 years in prison for trafficking children, wishes her well, and behind the scenes debates whether or not he should pardon her. Like,
should we pardon Maxwell? Honestly, I'm not really big on hurting women. I mean, like, I just can't see myself doing it.
It seems to me that there is something here. And I think that when he says, "Oh, it's there's nothing interesting there," I think it's just he's desperately trying to figure out a way to reduce interest in this, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, like he is definitely asking everybody to change the channel more than anything, because it's not that it's just not very interesting. Because if it's not very interesting, then just release it to the public. It can literally do nothing then. If it's not very interesting, here's what's going to happen. I can tell you what's going to happen in a world where it's not very interesting. Because we saw this world with Project 2025. Project 2025 was not very interesting. If you were politically plugged in, it was the thing you fixated on. But on stream, I read through 200 pages of it to my stream. And I could not do any more than that because it was either too much or I got bored because it's too big of a document written in legalese, which is the most fucking frustrating thing to ever read ever. The biggest problem with Project 2025 was that it was not interesting to people. People were perfectly happy to talk about it, but nobody wanted to fucking read it.
Yeah, it was absolutely. I mean, it's absolutely devastating. It should have been a bigger story, but like I went through all of the training videos for Project 2025 on my channel, and like how that they're just talking about we want to gut the departments, and we want you to be our front line. You know, whoever you are, you know, just sign up. You can be any dipshit. And it was genuinely insane. But like, despite that, like those videos did not do numbers. You know, like people just, it was not interesting to people, and this was a publicly available plan. There was no secret about it.
Yeah, this was a thing that everybody could see, and like obviously Trump tried to deflect from it, saying like, actually no, Agenda 47 is what we're doing today, and we're not talking about that. And then he's done all the things on Project 2025. People do not have the attention spans for something that is laid out like that. So like, in the world where the Epstein files are that, okay, fine, just release them to the public. It obviously didn't hurt you when everybody read Project 2025. They had all the information they could have possibly needed because they just didn't fucking read it. You release the Epstein files to the public, 99% of people are not going to go through them. 99% of the people are going to let their content creators and the pundits and the people whose job it is to talk about this stuff go through them, and then they're going to be at the whims of whoever happens to be supplying that information at the time. Because that always fucking happens.
And if that's boring, you know, and I have a very deep feeling that it's not actually boring, and that's the reason he doesn't want to release it. Because, like, again, it's not even just like, oh, this is an interesting thing that people latch onto. Just let it go. Like, everyone, just let it go. Calm down. Because this is like the pillar he built like half of his support on, you know? Like, all of the QAnon folks, all of like the MAGA
every
extremists.
Pizzagate person.
Yep.
They were here thinking Trump was going to fight the pedos.
Yeah, every single person who thought he was going to drain the swamp, for them, this is what the swamp is. And, like, they can't let it go because, like, I listened to a clip of from Glenn Beck's show. Glenn Beck takes, like, calls on his show, and this guy called in, and his voice is just shaking. Because these people, like, you can think they're stupid, you can think that they don't care about anything, you can think they're cruel, whatever. But in their minds and in their world, they deeply care about this issue. And, like, this guy is on the verge of tears, talking about, like, how literally nothing else matters if we can't even protect children, like, from something like this. And, like, in Trump world, this isn't going away. Like, I think they could excuse basically anything. They ignored the fact that, like, it's been known for years that he and Jeffrey Epstein were best friends. They ignored for years that, like, oh yeah, they partied together and they shared a love of women together. And
even though he likes them on the younger side. Actual fucking words from Trump, by the way.
Yeah,
actual words from Trump.
They ignored that Donald Trump would go into, like, the dressing rooms of, like, teenage beauty contestants.
Yep.
Like, some of whom were underage. Like, they ignored a lot of things about Donald Trump. There are literal clips of him of like his daughter saying, "Ha ha ha! People think you're like a sexual predator," on like the Howard Stern show. There are clips of him like talking about how sexy his daughter is and how voluptuous she was at like 12.
He would be dating her if she wasn't his daughter. Again, his words.
There are also clips of him like pointing at like random children and being like, I'll be dating her in 10 years. Like, it's some really weird and gross stuff. And they were willing to just ignore all of that and pretend it either didn't exist or that they didn't really care, as long as, you know, he got into power and did what he said he was going to do, because they want that. And this is literally like the thing he needed to deliver on. And it's something that they made a central pillar of their support for him. And I don't think he really understands that. I don't know that he can make it go away, because he's just yelling at people now to stop talking about it.
He's created the problem. He's got a whole bunch of people who have lived in two parallel worlds. They've lived in the world where Tennessee Republicans want to bring back child marriage.
Oh, wait. Mm-hmm. Also, Nindreen in my chat is absolutely right. Epstein and Trump being friends is like being a friend with Diddy. And Donald Trump was also friends and partied with Diddy.
Okay, I need to say something, though. Just something that I think we've all been thinking, but really needs to be said. We need to talk about the real victim in the Diddy situation. It was Johnson & Johnson. I'm sorry, but when you as a business lose 50% of your sales overnight, that's horrifying. I'm not talking about their stock. I'm just saying, like, when you have a fucking soda fountain pumping out Johnson & Johnson oil, you are the number one buyer. I really feel for the Johnson families, you know, the Johnson number 1 family and Johnson number 2 family. They must really be hurting today. But no, seriously, dude's a fucking monster, and I hope he rots.
Yeah, and like I don't know, you've lost like Asmongold support. Like you lost the Joe Rogan support. Like you're losing like the dipshits on this one, Trump, and I don't know how you get them back.
I don't think you. So I say I don't think you do, but like these are the same people who Trump lost when Biden got elected, and then he got them back like overnight.
Mm-hmm. This seems to have legs, though.
I'm hoping it does. I really hope this is the thing that causes people to understand that this is a megalomaniacal guy who does not need to have power.
Yep.
About as basic as it gets. Every judge in the country, even Ketanji Brown Jackson, I bet, can grasp this very straightforward concept. You can easily get a case thrown out of traffic court if they won't give you all of the relevant footage that they have. Or, of course, if they give you footage that's been doctored in some way. On the other hand, when it comes to the single most watched sex trafficking case in the history of the United States, this rule apparently doesn't apply. You can forget all about chain of custody, and you can forget about obtaining raw footage as well. Instead, in the case of Jeffrey Epstein, the DOJ produced a video that was clearly manipulated. As we discussed previously, Wired magazine found that...
I think he's talking about the one from Jeffrey Epstein's cell, where there was like a minute or two that was missing.
Oh, like a full-on, like 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we
they claimed
this
it was
doctored
the raw...
footage.
And they claim it's the raw, unedited footage, and it's missing 3 minutes. Look, they're like, I don't know. I've always leaned towards he didn't kill himself, but like, this is some real, like, if you're innocent, you're doing some real goofy shit to make yourself look as guilty as possible of covering this up.
It's true. Also, if you can give me just a second, I need to go refill my drink, and I will regret life a lot if I don't have this right now. I will be back in 2 minutes. Well, to showcase exactly what we can do with live editing nowadays, my editor's not going to have to edit out any of the aside where I was AFK. because
Hell yeah.
Stream Deck is a wonderful piece of equipment where I can just press a button and shit ceases to exist for an amount of time. So this was raw footage, completely unedited, by the way, and so I'm definitely going to be supporting sending this in a court of law because our country seems to be doing the same thing. So,
of course.
Okay. Jessa says raw and uncut.
God, why? Also, Exia Ross in my chat says, I love Suris, but my favorite bit is when he learned that Sailor Moon is satanic.
Oh, yeah. So I actually have that DVD sitting next to me.
There's a DVD...
What? Okay, so... Okay, I'm going to have to tangent you now. I'm sorry. But
okay.
There is a young Earth creationist media organization called Little Light Studios. Their bread and butter is making propaganda films that all have the same message. That thing you like is actually satanic and don't do it. So, they made a movie called Anime Exposed, where they talked about how anime is actually satanic and demonic. And of course, every single person who talked about this shit could only talk about, like, 90s and early 2000s anime. They couldn't talk about anything that was recent, because not one of them would do a lick of fucking research. And all of their information was taken from Wikipedia articles on fandom wikis that are not always accurate.
Okay.
So... It was a trip, and I'm technically not done with the series because I'm kind of thinking about restarting it from the beginning.
Ooh.
And maybe doing an Anime Exposed marathon as part of a subathon. Maybe that's something that my audience will appreciate. Jasta says, it's been like 2 years. I know I started that series 2 years ago. Don't at me, even though you added me.
Can I ask if my favorite episode of Sailor Moon that I've seen so far is in it? The one with the priest who's actually like a demon monster that loves boxing, called Boxy.
They might have, but never say the words Boxy around me. I was there for that era of the internet, and I'm still stained.
He's just a priest that really loves boxing as a sport, and he turns into a boxing monster. And it's honestly like, I fucking love that episode. It's so silly.
It's weird that Sailor Moon as a manga got turned into a villain of the week episodic series, but like Full Metal Alchemist, the same thing happened to it for a while, so I'm not really surprised. That seemed to happen a lot during the early aughts and 90s and 80s.
Oh god, I do still owe my chat a dissection of the I have to do a video on the Jerry Seinfeld Pop-Tart film, Unfrosted.
The what now?
Do you not remember this?
No, I don't. I've never heard those words together in a sentence constructed that way.
Jerry Seinfeld has basically limitless pull to make whatever he wants, and so he made a movie about the creation of Pop-Tarts. But like, it's really bad. It's really bad, and it's really not funny, but it's super weird.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Netflix original film. Yeah. The U.S. military made like a sentient. There's like a part where like the U.S. military like makes a sentient toaster strudel or something. Like it's weird.
I need to see this thing. This sounds like something the Nostalgia Critic or the Angry Video Game Nerd would cook up in their basements.
Yeah, it's oh boy. Also, my chat is telling me to ask, have you seen Bravern?
No, I have not. What is that?
Oh god, it is an anime that is like a gritty, futuristic mecha anime. Okay, and it's about two men who want to be the best soldiers and heroes they can be.
Okay.
And in the middle of a training exercise, Earth gets invaded by robot aliens that just like decimate the planet.
So you're just describing the plot of Evangelion to me.
But then a giant Voltron-like robot descends from the sky and demands that one of these men get inside of him and work him in order to defeat the aliens.
Okay, so it's Get in the Robot, Shinji. We're still in Evangelion. All
and
the
he doesn't want to get
there too.
He doesn't want to get in this robot, but it turns into an incredible love story with a romantic triangle between these two men and this giant robot.
Okay, and
the robot has romantic feelings for his pilot, and I realized when I was in like I think the beginning of or towards the end of either episode 1 or the beginning of episode 2 that it's like it's not just like implying like gay romance. It's like this robot is sitting down and talking to the leaders of Earth about how much he needs this man inside of him.
Okay, so again, we're still in the plot of Evangelion. It's just a little weirder when it's Eva because it's the kid's mom.
Yeah, it becomes progressively less gritty and more funny, and then it becomes surprisingly wholesome.
Okay.
Because it's basically taking like, you know, the old like Gundams where like they give monologues about their special attacks.
Yeah, it's the this is the finger that will make the future bright, shining finger attack. That shit.
Yeah,
yes.
It's basically that, like the attacks from this robot won't work unless you yell out the battle phrases it needs.
Okay.
And it's very funny, and everyone around them is just like, okay, so robot aliens, huh? What's going on here? Oh, but we're gonna try and figure this all out together. It's very silly, and I wound up really, really liking it, and I'm really surprised more people aren't talking about it.
Bragwin says, "Pull my bright shining finger."
Yeah, I'd very much recommend it.
Okay, fair enough. You know what I would not recommend?
What?
Us continuing the Matt Walsh video, but I'm about to press the button
I know,
anyway.
I was trying so hard.
The footage from outside Epstein's jail cell, which the DOJ claimed was raw footage, had actually been edited and saved multiple times back in May of this year. Specifically, quote, the file was assembled from at least 2 source clips, saved multiple times, exported, and then uploaded to the DOJ's website. Additionally, viewers noticed that there was a glitch when the timer in the footage moved from 11:58 to 11:59 p.m. It seemed to jump ahead to midnight. None of this was initially explained or disclosed by the DOJ, which again referred to the footage as raw. Of course, the reason the DOJ claimed the footage was raw is that they understand, as most people do, that any edits for any reason would immediately raise a lot of questions. There should be no need to save the file multiple times or to combine clips, to delete things. They could have just posted everything they had.
Mm-hmm.
Raw footage, that's what that means. Just here it is. And the public can sort it out from there. But the DOJ didn't do that.
So there is
shocked.
There is one tiny hole here. I can understand security footage that is being... So when security footage is being kept, it's usually kept for, 30 days, 60 days, depending on the protocol. I can understand the footage being saved over a couple of times as it's basically being transferred between hard drives. I can understand that being something that's there, but like the 2 to 3 minutes being missing from the footage is something that I cannot even for a moment consider anywhere near normal.
Especially if we're talking about like it appears that like 2 different strands of footage were spliced together. Like
yeah.
It's just very weird. It's especially weird that they thought no one would notice.
Yeah. I don't know. Man, I wonder if it really is a nobody's gonna notice when we do this shit type of thing, or is it arrogance? Because it can go either way.
Yeah, I genuinely have no idea. These people are just like, I can easily imagine that the people in charge of releasing this footage were like the most incompetent people they could find, because that's really all who's being like put in charge of things these days.
I mean, once more, Project 2025 is an article that anybody can read. One of the things it talks about is by getting rid of skilled labor in the government and replacing it with people who are more amenable to whatever random shit and whims that the president at the time, in this case Donald Trump, wants you to do. It is literally written right there for anybody at all who wants that information. I'm not saying that had anything to do with this particular scenario. I'm just saying that that is well understood and written information we can all see. So, anyway, Naki Bree says, so I just got here. Is Matt defending pedicent Trump? Let's find out.
It's possible they were hoping that no one would look at the metadata or study the videos closely. And if that was the plan, it didn't last very long. After the footage was posted and Wired Magazine noticed the problem, Pam Bondi had to come up with a justification for all of the discrepancies. And what she said ultimately is that the security system in the jail resets every night for around a minute. And therefore, we're told there was nothing nefarious about the missing footage. It's just a fact of life that in one of the most secure prisons in the country, we can't design a camera system that stays online 24/7.
It's very easy to do that, by the way. You have backup cameras that only have the job of being on for a handful of minutes. That's what you do.
Like, I'm really upset at how much sense Matt Walsh is making here. Like, I'm not used to him being able to string this many words together and, like, me not having, like, an inherent, like, fundamental problem with what he's saying.
Yeah,
but,
we're just sitting here agreeing with Matt Walsh. It feels weird and wrong.
I mean, if, like, a corner bodega can have 24/7, like, security cameras, like, I feel like one of the most secure prisons in the country should be able to handle that.
And that is the most New York thing you've said in the last hour.
That's beyond our capacity. We can, land a man on the moon, but we can't prevent the cameras from shutting down every night just long enough to, maybe allow someone to get murdered. We also can't make sure that there's more than one functioning camera in the vicinity of this cell block. Now, already this was an unsatisfactory explanation. The DOJ didn't actually provide proof that the system needs to go offline for a minute every night. Bondi just claimed that it was normal, and we're all supposed to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
She also didn't say anything whatsoever about why the footage needed to be edited in the first place. Again, this would not fly in traffic court. And it definitely doesn't pass muster when we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, who had the potential to implicate the most powerful people in the world. And yet somehow the story just got much, much worse for Bondi and the DOJ. It turns out that even after they were exposed for hiding relevant information from the public about this tape, they still haven't come forward with the full story. So it falls on Wired Magazine, a small internet publication, to fill in even more details. And here's what they reported the other day. Quote, newly uncovered metadata reveals that nearly 3 minutes of footage were cut from the U.S. Department of Justice and Federal Bureau of Investigation, described as full raw surveillance video from the only functioning camera near Jeffrey Epstein's prison cell the night before he was found dead. Further analysis shows that one of the source clips was approximately 2 minutes and 53 seconds longer than the segment included in the final video, indicating that footage appears to have been trimmed before release. It's unclear what, if anything, the minutes cut from the first clip showed. Now, before we read on further in the article, there is just simply no way to justify this. It doesn't matter if the extra 2 minutes and 53 seconds, were irrelevant. It doesn't matter if those extra 2 minutes and 53 seconds were duplicated in another video file. In this case, and in every other case, the duty of the government is to be transparent. It's not to save people a very small amount of time when they're watching an hour's worth of video footage. Any government that's functioning properly would understand this calculation immediately. Just give people all of the information that you have and let them sort it out. The article could
Again, it feels really weird to just be sitting here nodding along with Matt Walsh. He hasn't said something I disagree with yet.
Yeah, I mean, like, the one thing I would add is that, like, I find it interesting in this moment to see who is standing with the Trump administration and who is, like, willing to distance themselves from the Trump administration, right? Like, because I think that there are people out there who are still willing to go to bat for Trump despite everything, but, like, it is very interesting to me that, like, you've lost Joe Rogan, you've lost Asmongold, you've lost Matt Walsh. Do you have any idea how hard you have to work to lose the Matt Walsh contingent of the conservative movement? Like, I guess he lost Charlie Kirk briefly, and then Charlie Kirk came back.
He got his marching orders over the weekend and was like, I'm done talking about the Epstein files. I'm going to listen to my friends in the government. Oh, which, by the way, are words that Charlie Kirk would never have uttered a handful of years ago. My friends in the government. I trust my friends in the government.
God, it's so weird.
I thought the joke was supposed to be that the minute that somebody says, I'm from the government and I'm here to help, your alarm bells are supposed to ring.
And on top of that, like, you lost Megyn Kelly, you lost Tucker Carlson, and I do think, and I've said this, I said this like a few days ago, but, like, I think Tucker Carlson is going to use this as, like, a springboard to launch, like, a stab at the presidency in 2028. I think, like, he's seeing this, like, he's kind of been sleeping, like, he did that stuff on Twitter, and now he's, like, kind of leveraged it back to YouTube, and I think he's kind of gearing up for some kind of, it's been a long rumored he wants to be president, he wants to be in politics, like, officially, and, like, that kind of terrifies me a little bit.
Yeah, we've already seen enough of just absolute jackass-worthy people in politics. We don't need more. We really don't. Like, I've been flirting with trying to run for commissioner here in Georgia, but it's not in Georgia specifically. It just would be in my county. Yeah, problem is that I don't know if I could do any good from that particular seat because most of that just involves with zoning laws. It would almost completely be I am doing this because there's I don't know if the same thing is being offered everywhere, but don't leave any seat challenged is something that that political organizations aligned with the Democratic Party are getting funding as long as they can make sure that every single seat is being challenged if it has a Republican incumbent. So, like, I would be one more asshole in politics at that point, but that's literally just so that a local org can get funding.
I mean, yeah, it's... I'm just a firm believer that, like, the current moment just calls for everyone who feels like they have a shot at getting a local or state level position, like, fucking go for it. You know, like, that's kind of where I'm at.
I am working with the Clarence Blaylock campaign against Marjorie Taylor Greene, though. That is something.
Hell yeah.
I'm doing his filming for all of his political
great.
advertisements. So, like, there is something I'm doing in that realm that's different. Yeah. But
let's go.
I'm hoping that works well because I'm tired of being in Marjorie's district. I'm tired of living in her shadow. It's very frustrating. Sidebar. Complete sidebar. Are you on Google Chrome right now?
I am.
Do you have Twitch open right now?
I do.
You should have received a knock from me. I don't know if you've done the stream collab on Twitch before.
I see it. I never have, but there we go.
So, what this is going to do, once I press this button right here, now our Twitch chats are shared and our viewership is shared on Twitch as well. So both of our communities that are at least on those platforms will be able to communicate. Now, I know that most of your audience is going to be on your website, but for those stragglers who are sitting around on Twitch, this way we can combine everything together at that point.
That's so neat.
Makes it a whole lot easier for anybody from my audience who may not have followed you already or would like to interact with your community to do so.
Yeah.
Just a fun and happy thing we can use.
Let's go.
The Knife Duck says, oh wait, I have to pay attention now? Yes. Oh, also, it does one other thing. If anybody donates for a hype train on Twitch over on your end at all, or on my end, it shares our hype trains together. So any funding that would go to the individual creator still goes to the creator that the person aimed it at. But if we get a hype train and more people start donating as a result, we can scale that up way higher by everybody being together. Also, your feed seems frozen.
Oh yeah, I was trying to see if I could activate my here, let me refresh it real quick. I was trying to activate my camera, see like if I could do that over there. Oh god. Here, 1 second.
Yep, now you are a red exclamation mark.
Yeah.
Pandora
Cool.
Squill, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Salmanu says, ooh, we can mod both chats. Correct. You can. Everything is combined. My moderators and your moderators have to get along now. Oh, new gender unlocked. Red exclamation mark. And when the conservatives complain, we will add one more. Oh, now it's just the cuck chair again. Okay.
Ominous chair.
Gideon Wells, thank you for gifting a community sub.
Troubleshooting. What is it being used by? I'm very confused. Wait, is it being used by...
Is it being used by that Twitch window? It doesn't seem like it is.
What
How
is happening?
I'm gonna try a thing real quick, just to troubleshoot. Hang up from the end stream together temporarily, and let's see if maybe that screen hijacked your camera, because that might be
that might be it. Okay, do I just click the leave stream together button?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's try. I'm gonna refresh.
And Guitar Rocker, I apologize that I am not re-editing this part out, because I don't know when it started and when it's gonna end. I see.
I'm trying to figure out what application is using the camera.
Yeah, because now it just shows you loading forever.
Yeah.
That's weird. Huh.
Boop, boop, boop. Device is not available. I'm going to try just unplugging it and plugging it back in again.
You know what? Sometimes that is what works. In the meantime, I'm going to continue munching on these pistachios.
Do it! Are they spicy? Are they spicy pistachios?
They are salt, pepper, and garlic.
Oh, good. Now I look like I'm from another dimension. Let's go. Okay.
See, on my end on Discord, I still don't see you at all.
There we go. I think I fixed it.
El Gato.
No. There we go. There we go.
There we are. All right. So now what
we did
do
it.
Is we go back into the stream together thing, and then we never touch a camera button ever again.
Okay, fair. Fair.
All right. So on Twitch, you should be able to click a button that says you can join the stream, since we already accepted a stream together. At least it should work.
Let's see. Is there like a button in the quick actions?
On my end, I'm just seeing it by looking at your channel.
Oh, okay. Here. Head over to your channel.
Nixie says, hey, I can chat again. Hello, Nixie-chan. Disron says, about the political run, if you were in charge of zoning, would you be able to let people start businesses in residential areas like corner stores and whatnot? I mean, that does go part and parcel with that, but in my area, that wouldn't be able to be done, really, because all of our residential zones are basically just fully built as suburbs. the most you could do is get a convenience store put at the end, from what I understand. It is... So turn on Google to include your camera in the browser. I don't want to do that. I'm going to click end stream together, and then I'm going to try knocking again.
Okay.
Here we go. All right, a request should be sent to you.
Hey, there we go.
All right, and then
there
I press
we go.
this button, and we are sharing chat now.
Our chats are one.
All right, and there we go. Now communities are glued together, and that is... we started the stream talking about milking. I think they'll all be okay. Jesus fucking Christ, Nixie-chan. Thank you so much for dropping $100 on the stream.
Damn!
Unfortunately, that also means I have to subject myself to saying fucking ooh because of that. That's the canonical price for it. Liz Galad says, "What have you done to us?" I grabbed a bunch of milk manners and put them with a bunch of M-preg breeders. So, you know, I don't know. We're talking about Matt Walsh, everybody. Nixie says that's payback for the Rickroll earlier. So let me get this straight. For me Rickrolling you earlier, you gave me money so that I would utter a phrase that I fucking hate, which means I lost, but I got money to pay for food, so I won. But the money that came for food came from self-humiliation, so I lost. Am I following this all correctly? Because like I promise you that some of that's going to Waffle House.
Oh, God.
Did you just say no? What? Waffle House has been vetoed, and it is now a burger. Some of that has now been turned into a burger. Borgor. Saki is having the bad mental health day, so literally whatever she wants food-wise will happen.
Hell yeah!
Ninja Ray says, I work in nuclear, so I'm an expert in breeding reactors. Those are words, and you said them.
Okay, so remember how I told you about Dildog?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my chat made a Dildog emote, and then I was talking about the incident where, like, an Eagle Scout decided his hyperfixation was going to be making a homemade breeder reactor in his backyard.
Okay.
And it didn't go particularly well, but he was pretty successful to the point where he got freaked out because it started going critical, and so he shut it down and was dismantling it. But then he got caught because he stole a bunch of
government property to make it.
He stole a bunch of smoke detectors from an apartment building in order to get the Americanium inside of them, and
Americanium sounds like a fake metal.
It does, but it's unfortunately very real.
Okay, then.
Just kind of the stupid legacy of people being able to name things they discover. It was. I think that was the same stream that brought us Dildog, and so people were going crazy about Dildog and breeder reactors, and I think you can kind of see the general thrust of this.
Why did you have to say general thrust?
It was deliberate. I had the thought that maybe I should stop, and then I just said, "Nah, it's fine. It's fine. We're already this deep. We're already here. There's nowhere else for us to go."
Okay, but would you have worded it that way if it was any other streamer, or is this just like my personal curse?
Oh no, I just have no filter. That's me. That's just how I am.
This explains why we get along. Anyway, I'm going to bring Beyblades again the next time that we have a political function together.
Oh, hell yeah. That was so much fun.
Fox Faith, thank you for redeeming your points for an you fucking degen. All right, let's continue with Epstein stuff, I guess.
Continues,
quote,
oh yeah,
that's
happening. The nearly 3-minute discrepancy may be related to the widely reported 1-minute gap between 11:58 and 58 seconds p.m. and 12 a.m. that Attorney General Pam Bondi has attributed to a nightly system reset. The metadata confirms that the first video file, which showed footage from August 9th, 2019 continued for several minutes beyond what appears in the final version of the video. It was trimmed to the 11:58 p.m. Mark right before the jump to midnight. The cut to the first clip doesn't necessarily mean that there is additional time unaccounted for. The second clip picks up at midnight, which suggests the two would overlap. Nor does it prove that the video, that the missing minute was cut from the video. Close quote. In other words, we can't say definitively what's in the 3 minutes of footage that were cut. It's possible there's nothing of interest, but there's one way the government could provide some more clarity. They could simply dump all the files on the DOJ's website without any editing whatsoever. At the moment, no one in the Trump administration can come up with a coherent justification for why this hasn't been done. They also can't explain why they haven't released phase 2 of the Epstein files, which was originally planned, or the truckload of documents that Pam Bondi said the DOJ had recovered in the last few months from the Southern District of New York.
She said they were literally on her desk.
Children on the videos.
Not only did she say they were on her desk, but you remember that they had all the content people like holding up the files, saying, "Oh, we have them all here. It's all happening. It's all gonna come together."
Yeah, it was just like an executive summary of like everything that was already publicly known.
Yeah,
it was really stupid.
Oh my god.
She can't release, but she hasn't said anything at all about any of the documents beyond telling us that they're apparently not important, which is different from what she initially said. Nor has she unsealed the search warrants or financial disclosures in the case. Instead of getting any transparency here, the Trump administration is continuing to tell us that these materials are boring and that we shouldn't care about them. Here's how the president put it yesterday. Listen.
I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled?
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what...
He was never a big factor in terms of life?
Because he's dead now.
My guy, he's one of the most well-connected people in media and politics, and that is still a conversation people are having to this day for a reason. Why do people still talk about Michael Jackson to this day?
But Suris, if he was so big on life, explain how he's dead.
If he was so big on life, why is he dead now?
Yeah.
It
really makes you think.
If life was important, why die? Why do people even die? If life is so good, why is there no life too? God, Jesus Christ. So who remembers the Iraqi information minister? He'd be taking notes from this. Look, all I'm saying is those weapons of mass destruction, they're in there somewhere. Bush told me for years he'd find them. Life 2 is just heaven or hell, right? Right, but a part of life is that you die. So, no. Here,
Life 2 would have twice as many microtransactions.
So no, Life 2 would just be a slower, more deliberate version of Life 1, and support for Life 1 would not be cut, but it would probably go into maintenance mode after a while, and then the community would move away from Life 2 and go back to Life 1 by and large, because they had a well-established time in Life 1. I'm just talking about Path of Exile now. I'm just talking about everything that Saki's ever described to me about Path of Exile 1 and 2 now.
I mean, I thought you were talking about Overwatch.
I mean, the difference is that nobody in this house cares about Overwatch, so I have no...
That's fair.
I have no context for that one.
The interest of what the fascination is, I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand.
Was it fake, or did it just not stick to you? Like, most of the shit that happened to Al Capone, most of the legal stuff that he went through, it was all real, but they couldn't get anything to truly stick to him because it was money and influence. Like somebody else we're talking about in the room right now, Drumpf.
Like, maybe one of the most damning things, though, is that no one is even like people like us are like, yeah, hey, this guy was friends with Epstein for like 15 years. But like no one is saying to him or pointing fingers at him directly here. But he's like, he goes to, oh yeah, they're making up all of this stuff about me. And it's kind of implying that like the Epstein files are about him. You know, like it makes him look so fucking guilty. It's ridiculous.
So I will say this in regards to the whole ordeal, in regards to Trump, it is interesting to me watching this guy bounce from like one giant media thing to the next because of this shit. Did you see shortly after like all of this stuff went viral, he decided, we're gonna deport Rosie O'Donnell?
Yeah.
And then after that, the most recent thing was him going, the White House going, would you like to share a Coke with Trump? Because Trump got on the phone with Coca-Cola, and now they're bringing cane sugar Coke back to the United States, which is weird because last I checked, I can go to the convenience store and buy a glass bottle of Mexican Coca-Cola. So I could, like, I have access to cane sugar Coke right now. He wouldn't be bringing anything back. It exists here already.
Yeah, it's he's really trying hard to figure out what kind of useless bullshit is gonna make people like him again. And I don't know that like you can distract people from this. They've literally been obsessed with this for like a decade. They're not gonna stop now.
Yeah, it's an ordeal, and it's an ordeal he created for himself, right? Like, this is the guy who built an entire idea of himself for his base as like he's the hero. He's the guy who's going to save us all. He's the guy who's going to save the kids from the bottom of the pizza parlor.
He literally sold digital trading cards of himself as a superhero. Like I don't like. Do you remember that?
Isn't James Gunn suing him for using his likeness on his fucking Superman poster?
Wait, is that? I don't know. I haven't heard about that. If so, that's incredible.
Hold on. Let's double check this.
Yeah, people were literally saying he was Q from QAnon.
Okay.
Like people thought he was the guy.
Okay, so he didn't actually file a lawsuit against President Donald Trump for unauthorized stuff. I just checked Snopes about it, but
okay, that's sad.
That is a meme that's been trending because the White House put out its Trump, Truth, Justice, and the American Way Superman. It's just James Gunn Superman with Trump's face on it.
God.
The fact the White House did that and used AI to do it, which means the White House is just stealing artwork from people without their consent because that's how generative AI works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love the world. There are ethical uses for large language models, and artwork is not one of them.
Nope.
And why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think, well, really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
Now, and by the way, just this morning,
are interested in it.
Truth Social.
Only the bad people want it, but if there's credible information in there, they should have it. Okay, cool. My guy, you're the one who has the power to give that information out.
Hey, my entire base, who's been obsessed with this for decades, you're all very bad people for caring about this.
Attacking anyone who's still asking about Epstein as weaklings and saying that he doesn't want their support anymore. And, I know some people are annoyed at me for harping on this and criticizing the president, who in many other ways is doing a fantastic job. But I happen to believe that bringing sex predators to justice is extremely important. And I just can't accept being blatantly gaslit by people in power, even if they're people that I otherwise support. In fact, especially if they're people I otherwise support. So I must say that this answer from Trump is just simply awful. Mm-hmm. First, there's the personal attacks on anyone who asks questions, saying that they're bad people. It's always a winning argument. If you want to convince millions of skeptical people that their leaders are lying to them about their behavior, then the best approach is to mock them. Works every time. You know, and in general, you know, screaming at people to stop talking about something is, and I know this is the way that I work, like the number one way to guarantee that I keep talking about something is to yell at me to stop talking about it. And then there's the implication that the Epstein files are boring. Well, in that case, release everything. Bore us to death. Go
Why
ahead.
am I agreeing with
Then
everything
the
he
story's over
says?
and everyone can go on with their lives. The 9/11 report was something like 600 pages.
Like,
parts of that document
pause it
were
for a second.
Yeah.
Like, because it's one of those rare situations where, like, he can drop the character of Matt Walsh and, like, he's just like a rational human being for like a second. Like, you know, I do think he cares about this in the same way that, like, a lot of people who are absolutely shit people who, like, are bigoted in innumerable different ways, they do genuinely care about this. And, like, their support on a lot of other things can be influenced and wibble wobble and stuff, but, like, this was, like, something that these people, like, built, like, their moral foundation when it comes to politics on, and they can't move from that, you know? And, like, it happens to be like, oh yeah, hey, the left is also anti-child sexual abuse. We should probably stop that. So, like, it's one of those situations where we're just like, we're all on the same page here. And yeah, Donald Trump is bad. You know, like, yeah, we're all being like, yeah, you guys are finally starting to get it, maybe a little bit. And I don't know how permanent this is, but, like, I don't know. I hope it continues. I hope it opens some people's eyes, and maybe, like, my dream scenario is you have a bunch of people watching Donald Trump be like, this is just like the Russia, just like the Steele dossier. And, like, I hope it, like, gets some of these people thinking, like, wait, he's comparing it to those things. But, like, we know he has the Epstein files. Does that mean he was lying about these other things too? Like, I hope it leads someone to, like, that small next step, you know?
I would hope so too. I don't have a lot of confidence in that, but I would hope that generally people would connect those dots together. Because like that's kind of what you want human beings to do when they are people that have even a little bit of control over things in your life. Because, like, other voters, they have a percentage of control over what happens in your life, whether you like it or not. So you'd hope that they would be better.
One would hope.
Boring. Almost nobody actually read the entire thing, but it was still very important that the 9/11 report was written. You know, it's extremely confusing, to put it mildly, to see the President of the United States take the opposite position. He says he doesn't understand why people care about Jeffrey Epstein, as if that's some kind of moral failing on our part. Guess what? Why would anyone care about some of the most powerful people on the planet spending time on a sex trafficker's private island?
Aren't these the same people, by the way, who freaked out for the longest time about adrenochrome? They've stopped talking about that, by the way. Isn't that weird? Isn't that so strange? But
I mean, some of them have. Like, I think that cult still very much exists, but it has
just
diminished.
Not as relevant as it used to be.
Yeah.
But, like, these are the people who were talking about Jewish tunnels used for child sex trafficking under was it New York or Washington, D.C.? I don't remember when that was.
I think it was Washington, D.C. with those.
So, like, these are the people who freak out and call everything Masonic, evil, satanic, pedophilic, whatever. So, of course, these are going to be the same people who look at the Epstein files and go, uh-huh, But why? It's like how you can't get gamers, like as a group of people, right? Like Gamergate type people. You can't get those people on board with something until you've taken away bouncing boobies in their video game in some way, shape, or form. That's when you get them mad and suddenly they start caring about, like, protecting culture and shit. Suddenly
God.
that stuff matters to them when their gooner bait on their video games is gone.
Yep.
Who could possibly be concerned about the possibility that a cabal of pedophiles and perverts are running entire countries and major corporations? And this is where the comparison to Russiagate comes in. It's probably the worst part of the answer you just heard. Russiagate was a disaster for this country precisely because we didn't get the whole story. Russiagate was premised on lies and distortions at every stage. If Donald Trump made a joke at a rally, the media interpreted it as a coded message to Putin. They pretended that he had a secret computer in Trump Tower that was communicating with Moscow. They said that there was the P-tape. They claimed that Russian hackers were being housed at a non-existent Russian consulate in Miami.
Okay, but for all of that stuff, there's a grain of truth to each of those.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has a direct line to Putin and talks to him, it used to at least talk to him a lot of the time, to the point where we were pretty much sure that he was going to completely come on Putin's side with the Ukraine thing. He seems to be giving Patriot missiles to Ukraine right now, so he's flipping on that a little bit. But for the longest time, it seemed that wasn't going to be the case because of his ties and his, like, big friendship with Putin. When it comes to the Russian hackers doing shit, MI6 had a set of documents talking about Russian hackers who were not necessarily hackers, but Russian botters who were making certain to flood our airwaves on Twitter and places like that, any social media, with information that was in the positive for Trump in one way, shape, or form, actively creating a media landscape where more people would be amenable to the whims of the president. President Trump, at the very least. So, like, did we specifically have Russian hackers held at a specific area of the United States? No, because when it comes to shit like this, specificity is your absolute worst thing you can have. You need to have enough of the information to be true, but you can't jump to conclusions. The information we knew was true was that Russia did have a bunch of people who were botting on Twitter and other areas to do things in the favor of President Trump. You can't imply from that anything further, but you can get up to that point because we had evidence for shit up to that point. That's the problem with conspiracy theorists, is that they have that tiny grain of truth and then they fucking run with it.
I mean, another aspect of this is that people close to Trump and around his campaign went to prison for lying about this specifically. And it's kind of like, okay, why did you go to prison over this if it's a non-story? You know, like, I don't know, seems weird.
Nindenray says, are we taking bets on the FIFA trophy that Trump took? It's in the Oval Office having a listening device to it. Is it bad that I read that as a Tifa trophy? But that's a
little bit.
That's the guy from the Italian consulate, though. That's different.
Yeah, Michael Cohen went to jail, Bizu. Like, the president's lawyer went to fucking jail over Russiagate. That's some weird shit if nothing was going on. Yeah, Michael Flynn went to jail too. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. He was in the middle of me breaking open a pistachio. Blame the nuts.
Weaken the GOP's platform on Russia, even though the opposite was true. When Hunter Biden dropped his laptop off at the repair store full of incriminating evidence about Joe Biden's influence peddling operation, the media blamed that on Russia too. And on and on and on.
Oh, but
so
that
Russiagate was an utter fraud.
We never get to escape Hunter Biden's laptop. We always get to perpetually live into the world of Hunter Biden's laptop.
In the shadow of his apparently ginormous dick.
Axo also pointed out we literally had YouTube influencers getting money from Russia. Tim Pool and Laura Chen were getting money from Russia to spread Russian propaganda.
Yep. Dave Rubin, Benny Johnson, so many people.
Just, this timeline is wild.
And to the extent that it was successful, it worked because the media and the Obama administration repeatedly lied to us. They didn't give us information. They lied to our faces for the better part of a decade. With the Epstein situation, what we want is the opposite response from the media and the government. We want total transparency. At the end of his answer, Trump talks about filtering the documents so that we can only we only obtain credible information, but that's not the job of the government. Their job is to give us whatever information they have.
Absolutely. What's up?
Yeah, like, what I find interesting about this particular maneuvering is that usually people like Matt Walsh hedge their bets pretty hard on making statements along these lines because it's really hard to walk back, you know, what he's saying, right? It's hard to, like, once you've pointed it all out to your audience, it's really hard to be like, actually, it's a total non-story, haha. Like, Charlie Kirk is trying to do that, and it's not working very well.
And the way he's doing it is by saying, I trust my friends in the government. Like, that's something that you're going to get conspiratoids to agree on.
Yeah, like you're... I just, again... it's not working because Charlie Kirk is essentially saying in the eyes of a lot of these people that, like, oh yeah, don't worry, I trust my pedophile friends in the government. Like, come on, like that doesn't make sense. If you're in this sphere of, like, QAnon brain cooked, you are not going to accept that at all.
Correct. But don't worry, we can definitely keep on convincing you that the government has your best interests at heart all the time, especially after we tell everybody that they're hiding a pedophile ring. It's going to go great. Deputy says, oh yeah, Maxwell is now demanding a retrial because of the list. If the list doesn't exist, she's in jail for no reason.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
I gotta say, I do really appreciate this scandal rocking the Trump administration because it makes the likelihood of, like, Donald Trump trying to hold on for, like, a third term basically non-existent. Like, you're not going to run for a third term if this is still, like, in the air remotely close to your election, you know?
Once they start assessing credibility, they give themselves a license to hide incriminating information. There's no reason to grant the government that license, no matter which political party is in charge. That's what makes the Democrats' sudden interest in the Epstein files so galling and intolerable. They're obviously...
God damn it. He just had to get off the train of things I agreed with. And that's why the Democrats... What the fuck do the Democrats have to do over this? They don't have any fucking power in the government right now. Shut up, Matt.
Yeah, the Democrats are the ones urging for all this stuff to come out. You know, like, I'm actually kind of impressed. Like, Ro Khanna's been, I have my issues with Ro Khanna, but, like, dude has been arguing for the House to release these files. Like, it's pretty. I don't know. I would think that if you're in the camp of Matt Walsh, you'd be pro-Democrat in this instance.
Turning this into a dumb partisan issue when it isn't one.
How are the Democrats turning it into a partisan issue? All they're doing is giving their opinions. Like, the only way in Matt Walsh's mind that the Democrats wouldn't turn this into a partisan issue is by the Democrats not speaking. But if they didn't say anything about this, then instead he would be saying their silence is speaking volumes. Like, Matt Walsh is a spin artist. He's going to find the way to do that. And you and me, who have been doing this YouTube and Twitch thing for a while, we can kind of smell the spin before it happens.
Yeah.
There's no way that Matt wouldn't spin that.
No.
Like, there's those of us who just want to know. We want child sex predators and sex traffickers brought to justice. It's not a partisan issue. And we want that regardless of who's in power.
That's true.
And we talked about this a bit yesterday. All of a sudden, after years of complete disinterest in the entire topic, Democrats are suddenly clamoring for the release of the Epstein files, or at least they're publicly pretending to want the Epstein files to be released. Here's Adam Kinzinger, for example. He's essentially a Democrat, of course. Quote, every, and I mean every Republican incumbent or candidate or even anyone thinking about running as a Republican for even dog catcher needs to be asked over and over and over about Epstein.
Wait, that's good advice right there.
This is a guy who's spent his only significant time in Congress, the only time people knew who he was, screeching hysterically about elderly women and a Q shaman walking around the Capitol building on January 6th. I mean, that was the issue he claimed to care about.
Hey, okay. And
I don't think it's bad to care about an insurrection against the United States government. I don't. Come on.
But no one actually cared about January 6th, so the whole plan backfired. So now that he's out of office, he's demanding that everybody talk about Epstein, an issue that he didn't care about until this week. It's not hard to see what's going on here. Neither party,
I will say that I do think that there is a pretty definitive reason that Democrats didn't want to talk about this, and that's because as Hillary Clinton's, I think, like, not daughter, but like niece said on Twitter when Jeffrey Epstein about the Jeffrey Epstein files, like, some of our faves may be implicated. That tweet is still up, and it's like, yeah,
okay,
but I think, like, those people who might be implicated are far enough from power now where, like, it's not the defining factor of decision making for a lot of the mainstream Democratic Party.
Also, I'm just going to say this right now as somebody who's been very fed up with the mainstream Democratic Party, and how they've operated and the types of people they've accepted money from. So, if many people in the Democratic Party get implicated as being problematic by the Epstein files, the only thing I can possibly say to that is good, and then get them out of office so that they no longer have power. I don't have to care. If I find out tomorrow that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a monster, yeah, I'm going to be a bit sad. But, like, I'm not going to care after that point, because once you've demonstrated to me that you're a monster, your spot in my brain disappears. You're gone. Your memory hold at that point.
Like, if we find out that, like, AOC was having sex with children, we wouldn't want her in power.
Correct. We would rather her be gone.
Yeah, and honestly, like, that needs to be, like, the attitude of our elected Dems. It needs to just be like, if you're implicated in this, sorry, we're cutting you loose. Like, bye. Doesn't matter what the political utility is in our current context. They need to go.
And if the majority of the Democratic Party disappears overnight as a result, then the only thing I can say to that is, yeah, good. Okay. Now we can wipe our hands clean and get a new set of people, and maybe we can even get a chairman in again from the Democrats who isn't taken away on procedure because he wants old Democrats to leave. Cough, cough, the David Hogg situation, cough, cough. But that's, that's neither here nor there.
Democrat or Republican wants to see the full unredacted release of the Epstein files, apparently. At a minimum, we can assume that top donors of both parties are implicated in some way. So they both want to neutralize this whole issue as quickly as they can. For Democrats, that means turning the Epstein files into yet another partisan football and turning into another, just a stunt. They're going to make performative efforts to release the files, even though they know that it will never work. For example, here's Axios' reporting from yesterday, quote, House Republicans on Tuesday voted down another Democratic procedural maneuver aimed at forcing the Justice Department to release documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. Democrats' procedural motion would have scuttled the GOP's legislative agenda for the day in favor of the bill, making it difficult for Republicans to vote for it. It came after Republicans on the House Rules Committee voted Monday night against attaching the Epstein language to a broader cryptocurrency and defense funding vote. And specifically, that broader cryptocurrency vote involved legislation that...
Because, like, I don't know. Seems kind of damning that the entire Republican Party is lockstep protecting pedophiles. You know, like I don't know. That seems weird and sus as fuck to me. If you're someone who identifies as a conservative, like, I don't know how you are at all rationalizing suddenly all of these people who have been saying for all this time, think of the children, think of the children, think of the children, are now
Some of these
voting
people have
to
spent far too much time thinking of children.
Yeah, and they're now voting to prevent information about who, in fact, is a threat to children from being released to the public. That, I don't know. This is like something that genuinely threatens the entire like power base of the Republican Party, and I don't know that they've all fully reckoned with that. I think some of them are like, "Oh, this is just a Trump thing," but like, this is gonna smear every single one of them.
And again, if they all get smeared, then they were better off as smears.
True.
And there we go. We're done.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the children as long as it's convenient to you. That should be the Republican motto. Think of the children so long as it's convenient.
That could have paved the way for a central bank digital currency, as well as restrictions on cryptocurrency ownership. And whatever you think of this bill, though it seems to be a pretty terrible idea, the fact remains that it has nothing whatsoever to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
I apologize, Matt Walsh, that you have just apparently now learned what pork fatting is. I apologize that in the year 2025, you are now an enemy of pork fatting bills, a thing that your side and our side has been doing for years, and a practice that should be illegal. The way we write bills should be the way that they have to write bills in France. Anything that you do in relation to a bill must be in line with the title of the bill. It cannot be attached to anything in the bill. Oh no, that would make us write more bills. No, it would make you have to read less. It would make people have to read less. We wouldn't have fucking 2,000-page bills that have to be passed overnight. That would disappear.
That genuinely should be illegal.
It should. Again, France solved this problem. There's also some other problems that France solved temporarily that maybe we could emulate one day in the future, but that's neither here nor there.
One day.
It'll at least make the local Home Depots and Lowe's a lot of money.
So Democrats are using this whole issue to play very transparent political games. That's how seriously they take child sex trafficking, which is not at all. But ultimately, if we're being honest, the problem here still goes back to the White House. They've given the Democrats this opening by bungling the situation so badly. The Trump administration seems mystified, or is acting that way, by the anger from the base. But, number one, many of us were not saying anything different from what we've been saying for years about Epstein. Okay, and also what Trump has been saying for years about it. Now Trump has decided all of a sudden that the issue doesn't matter, it's boring, and anyone who talks about it is a weakling and not one of his supporters. He decided that in the last 2 weeks. He never said that before. So the idea that we as conservatives are...
Have you seen the video that was cut from his Fox News interview where he was asked about whether or not he would declassify different documents?
Is it the one where when they got to Epstein, he said, "Yeah, I would declassify. Actually, maybe not, because there's a lot of stuff in there that might not be true. A lot of people might be implicated."
Yeah, it's basically, a lot of people say a lot of things, a lot of lies going around. It's just like would you declassify the MLK documents? Would you yes. Would you declassify the JFK files? Yes. And then the Epstein files, he hems and haws for like 2 minutes. It's crazy.
I have there's no surprise there from me, but I was actually corrected on that one. Last night I was streaming about it and I said this is what thing you ran on, and somebody in my chat was like, actually no, he hummed and hawed about it. I was like, oh, I had completely forgot about that because I was remembering the fucking publicity stunts with the influencers holding up the Epstein files going, we're about to release them. And, you know, I'm so sorry that I remembered the publicity stunts of the Trump administration as if they are extensions of Trump's will. But, you know.
Yep.
Well, we're back on the Matt Walsh being correct about things train for the last couple seconds.
See how many more seconds he lasts.
Yeah, let's see how long this goes.
Obligated to just adopt that perspective out of the blue is madness. It's also not possible, by the way. Even if I wanted to just decide that I don't care about this anymore, it doesn't work that way. I can't. I can't just... You can't say to me, well, you shouldn't care about this. Okay, well, then I don't. Well, never mind. Even if I wanted to obey that directive, I just can't. I care about the issue. I've cared about it for the last 5-6 years. I've cared about it the whole time. I still do. But I'm not interested in obeying that directive because I'm an American. Like, I'm an American. I can think for myself. And if you're a person in position of power, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to criticize you if you do something I don't like. I don't care what party you're in. But the other thing, too, is that the Epstein scandal, and this is what has to be, you have to understand, is that the Epstein scandal is not happening in a vacuum. Okay? We have not seen any high-profile or powerful people held accountable for their crimes. No one's even been fired, let alone arrested, for allowing an assassin to almost kill Trump last year. Trump was elected in 2016 partly on a promise to lock her...
My guy, the person who was responsible for that is dead. What? The thing you do when an attempted assassination happens and it fails, you don't just start randomly fucking firing people. You recognize that the threat has been eliminated. What the fuck are you on about?
I mean, I think he thinks that it should be like, oh, you failed to stop the shooter before he got shots off. You must now ritually, like, commit suicide. Like, that is kind of like where he's at.
Please commit Sudoku. You didn't protect dear leader.
Yeah, exactly.
Arrest the body. Lock it up. Now, what are we worried about? Is becoming a zombie or something?
I think he's about to say, I mean, Donald Trump didn't even lock up Hillary Clinton.
her up. You know, we all recall that.
Yep, that's what he did.
Partly on a promise to lock her up. You know, we all recall that.
We do.
When do we start locking people up? Trump himself has spent 10 years calling out many different crimes and scandals, right?
Again, the reason that he's not going to do that, like I said earlier in this particular video, is Trump understands things in the world of television. This is a guy who went on to fucking pro wrestling for one episode. This is a guy who hosts fucking Bachelorette and The Apprentice. This guy understands statements as things to rile up a crowd, not as things to care about or hang your hat on. That's how he understands them. He understands things within the realm of the media landscape, which is not an excuse in any way, shape, or form. It's just pointing out that this is not a person who's fit to be fucking president.
Also, Matt Walsh is asking for more people to be locked up. We're one of the most carceral states on the planet already.
When are we going to start locking
the Trump
up
administration? We're building concentration camps across the United States. Like we're locking up more people than we ever have before. And like he's like, it's not enough. We need to lock up more people.
Ekobaz says, been asleep all day. What's the new Epstein news? The new Epstein news is that Matt Walsh is 90% right about the Epstein stuff, and it's weird, and I don't like it. It's a very strange feeling.
So. Just this past weekend, he was talking again about the rigged election in 2020. Why hasn't anyone been arrested or charged for any of this?
What
about the people who lied about the COVID shot? What about the people who funded the BLM riots in 2020? What about the cabal of unelected bureaucrats who were using Joe Biden's auto pen to sign pardons and executive orders, effectively seizing control of the federal government?
Can you pause?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God. It was literally just revealed like yesterday or the day before that the guy who is heading the investigation into Joe Biden's auto pen usage has been signing documents with an auto pen. Like, it's such a non-issue that like literally the head of investigating that issue is also doing it. Like, I'm sorry, you're calling for people to be jailed over using like an auto signature? Like, get the fuck out of here.
You mean that thing that you do anytime you open up DocuSign?
Yep. It's like, yeah, Matt, it's almost like all of these things that Republicans have concocted over the years are completely bullshit. Thank you for pointing all of them out.
Like, no one is even being fired for any of this, let alone arrested for any of it. And that is the context that all of this is happening in, and a lot of us are just fed up with it. Speaking of the auto pen thing, the New York Times just uncovered emails from Biden officials in which they made executive decisions to sign certain documents. Quote, Mr. Zients hit reply all and wrote, I approve the use of the auto pen for the execution of all of the following pardons. That's a reference to Jeff Zients, the White House chief of staff. That's a sentence that no government official other than the president should ever write. The chief of staff does not have the authority to use the president's signature to pardon people. That's exactly what happened.
Have you ever seen Donald Trump? Have you ever seen Donald Trump sign his executive orders?
I try not to.
Dude literally does not know what he's signing. Like, he does not know. He has to have someone there explaining what each one does because he just has no idea. You know, he's checked out.
Because it's just the Heritage Foundation giving him shit to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yenzo says, and how are those events similar to the Epstein files? So, the thing about Matt Walsh's show is he has an hour-long rant session. That's what it is. It's an hour-long rant session, not unlike what me and Jack do sometimes. Like, it's an hour-long rant session. So I can't blame him for tangenting on this because he's not, as far as I know, he's not working with a teleprompter or anything. He's just shooting off the cuff. And the thing that people do is they normally, when they're shooting off the cuff, they'll go on a tangent. I'm not trying to defend Matt Walsh. If you've got the bullet coming for him, I'm not blocking it. But I'm perfectly okay with this behavior of bouncing around shit because it's an hour-long segment. He can cut it out in editing later if he needs to.
To say that digital signatures shouldn't be allowed, various outlets, including NBC News, have tried to claim that conservatives are attacking the idea of digital signatures. It's a straw man. That's not the case.
But
if Joe Biden,
that is the case. No. Don't fucking do that, my guy. You're upset that somebody worked on behalf of the president, which is a thing that administrations have been doing for years. They have a representative working on behalf of them. And you're upset that an auto pen was used, which is a digital signature, which is a non-issue. I'm sorry. It's not a straw man when it's the actual shit happening. Don't. You were doing so well. Paladin Law says he doesn't even know what officials he nominated for certain positions. He completely forgot he nominated Jerome Powell and then went, who's that idiot? Who's the idiot this guy is in?
Biden had said, use my auto.
He literally was like, he went on like a tangent today for like 2 minutes talking about how idiotic it was for Joe Biden to nominate Jerome Powell to the to the Fed, and like he also nominated Jerome Powell to the Fed. Like his brain's gone.
Yep. He is checked the fuck out. Have you seen the close-up pictures of him where he just looks like he is on every drug known to man?
He was literally bragging the other day about how he passed that dementia test like 7 years ago. you know, the person computer, you know, the test, whatever. And like he's
It's all
still bragging
computer.
about it. But like you're bragging about a early onset dementia test you took 7 years ago? Like, I don't know, that's maybe one of the most dementia coded things I've ever seen, frankly. Crazy.
It's like being super happy that you scored really high on your RADS test and then following it up with, by the way, I'm not autistic.
Yeah.
Like, person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Yeah, he also seems to think that it was an IQ test, which is...
I scored higher than anyone else.
Yeah, he was comparing his test results for that early onset dementia test to the IQ scores he imagines for AOC and what's her name? Jasmine Crockett.
Man, the conservatives are really upset that Crockett exists right now.
I know. It's one of the reasons I like her.
Enemy of my enemy. Although she seems to have a good head on her shoulders, so it's not even that.
Yeah, like I don't agree with her on everything, but like I like that she's willing to fight.
Yeah,
you know?
She's not Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Pen to approve these pardons, there'd be no story. Okay, that's not a scandal, but that's not what happened. Instead, a bunch of aides got together, said that they heard Joe Biden authorize certain things, and then solely based on their claims about what Joe Biden wanted, they used his signature to do what they wanted. Now, back to the point, Republicans are saying...
Okay, I'm not 100% certain that Matt Walsh is framing that correctly, but that's mostly because I generally do not trust the words that come out of Matt Walsh's mouth.
Yeah.
But I have no evidence to the contrary on that one, so I'm not going to fight against it. I'm just going to go based on the vibes. I don't generally agree with shit that Matt Walsh says unless I have good reason to.
saying that this is a major scandal. I agree. It is. So then who will be held responsible? Who will be punished? What person, what actual person with a face and a name are you going to arrest and put in prison for this scandal?
None.
Well, Republicans are investigating it. Great. I mean, they're constantly investigating things. The problem is that nobody is ever punished at the end of it. And I don't even think that's hyperbole. Like, nobody is ever punished at the end of any of these investigations. That's not how the Democrats operate. Democrats spent the last 4 years prosecuting Trump and throwing conservative activists and political advisors in prison.
Oh, so you're saying that the Democrats are actually better at their fucking jobs?
The
I can agree with
conservative activists that got sent to prison, the insurrectionists on January 6th.
And now, even after the majority of Americans have voted for transparency and justice, we're not getting it. And that's just not going to work. It's not what any Republican voted for in the last election. Okay, we want to see accountability.
Mm-hmm.
We want to know that even the rich and powerful will pay for their crimes. And that hasn't happened yet. And so for a lot of people, understandably so, this Epstein stuff is kind of the last straw.
What I really,
Give us the
really
information
enjoy
we've
here
been promised. Give us...
is that, like, very clearly the reason this isn't coming out yet is because somehow, in some manner, the president himself is implicated in this. And, like, Matt Walsh isn't saying that, but, like, a lot of conservatives, especially, like, maybe not 2 days ago, but, like, today, are really looking at Trump and being like, Did this guy diddle kids?
Did he do it?
Yeah, like
what was he cooking?
This is not how you would handle this if you weren't guilty as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, Matt Walsh is actually upset in a way that I haven't ever seen him actually upset before.
Most of the time when he's upset, it seems like he's playing the character.
don't think he's playing a character here.
Yeah, I think this is real Walsh for a little bit.
It's the information we're entitled to. If you refuse to do that, if you insist on insulting us instead, then we're facing a much worse outcome than Democrat control of Congress in less than 2 years. We're also facing a total collapse of legitimacy in our country. You can only deny reality for so long before people decide that they've had enough.
Uh-huh.
And whatever donors or intelligence assets are being protected here, they're not that important. They're not worth risking a revolt.
Yeah.
So give us the boring Epstein files, publish all.
Definitely the intelligence assets and donors that are being protected here. Definitely no one else at all.
Definitely not the president himself. I would never call Dear Leader a potential pedophile. Never Dear Leader.
No, they're gonna play that one close to the chest until, like, I don't know, like, until this escalates even further. Dear Leader would never.
Dear Leader would never.
All the uninteresting footage you clipped out of those videos from Epstein's cell block for reasons that no one has bothered to explain. Otherwise, in the absence of transparency, people will come to their own conclusions. And when they do, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you won't like what happens next. Now let's get to our 5 headlines.
Oh, that wasn't the headline? Okay.
I think generally people who are implicated for sex trafficking children aren't happy when that comes to light. But you know what? I don't care. I hope they all go to jail. I agree.
Yeah, I don't care either.
Matt Walsh W.
Yeah, for the most part. Then there was that weird stuff about the Democrats halfway through, but you know, you can't have it all when it comes to Walsh.
Yeah, I mean, this is the closest to a W he's ever been.
I mean, he's usually just harping on about the age of consent and how he doesn't necessarily agree with it being as...
I forgot. He's literally gone on camera and talked about how, like, 16-year-olds are the most fertile, technically, and how age of consent is a modern invention. Like, I don't know. Like, he's literally gone on his show and talked about the most sus shit.
Did you know that the age of consent is a modern invention? Okay, but it was invented for a reason. Do you want to explain that reason, Matt? Do you know cell phones are a modern invention? They were invented for a reason. Do you want to explain that reason? Like, it's okay for something to be a modern invention. That doesn't make it bad or unimportant. The real question is, why are you bringing it up? The real question always becomes, why are you bringing it up? Depraved Ambience goes, Dear Leader would never, and if he did, he'd have a good reason. And if he didn't have a good reason, it wasn't as bad as it seems. And if it is as bad as it seems, well, he couldn't help himself. And if he could have helped himself, well, it was her fault. I'm getting really big vibes from that fucking Twitter post of the what man wouldn't partake.
Oh God.
Have you seen that shit?
I have not, but like I can surmise what it means from the context.
Yep, you've got it. It's the Trump defenders that are okay with him being a pedophile because what man wouldn't partake?
God, was that the Outkick guy?
I don't remember. I covered it in an episode a couple days ago, and it's been memory hold because it's fucking gross.
There was that guy from, like, that conservative sports website who was just like, technically, a lot of states have ages of consent that go below 14. So really, Jeffrey Epstein should have just gone and done all this in Alabama. It totally would have been fine. Like it's genuinely some of the most unhinged shit.
You just sounded like a fucking South Park character for that whole thing.
I mean, that's what they deserve.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. Well, that's it for the Matt Walsh video, at least. We're not going into the other shit. I don't care about the other shit.
Yeah, a lot of you guys are saying Dave Portnoy from Barstool, and I wasn't talking about Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports, but like you guys it's somewhat telling that, you guys hear me say something that one conservative said. I think it was Clay Travis from Outkick. But then you're like, wait, do you mean this conservative or this conservative or this conservative or this one or that other one? Like, I don't know. It's kind of telling that a lot of them are saying really sussy shit about age of consent.
If your group of people is known for talking about the age of consent at length, then maybe your group of people should be in a jail cell.
That's a great ending note.
Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Limor Pinku, Love Bunny Games, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Aurora, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.